Hello, and welcome to this edition of Checking In With. We are checking in with Ryder Richards. Ryder is a North Texas artist and a sculptor, educator, all the things. We're happy to have you here, Ryder. And first of all, thank you for donating a piece to the Glass Tire auction, which is now going to be an online auction. But yeah, how are you doing?
Good. Surprisingly well. I think, this kind of excuse to stay home agrees with me. So, I think some of us are finding that. Of course, there are other issues, but I think they're mostly sort of like dealing with the anxiety that other people have. So
Right.
that seems to be the thing that I'm bumping into the most often.
Have you read any of those just observations about Zoom, like how just pretty much how fucked up it is? We're sort of disembodied heads, and especially if it's like multiple screens, it's just crazy.
Yeah, it feels a lot to me like so many things that have gone digital, right? Is it sort of promises to be a solution for something, but it just introduces a whole new set of problems. Um, and of course, you see that sort of reversion. I guess a lot of people going back to just like using their phones as a phone, and things like that, or trying to spend time in alternate ways. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm less productive, but I'm spending more time trying to connect with people than I did previously. And for some reason, this idea of connection is more important now, where 2 months ago, I didn't need to connect with these people and we were getting the work done. So it's partly, I guess, a psychological need it's trying to fulfill. Yeah, it just goes back to all the conversations about technology and how, you have all these new tools, and yet you don't feel like you're doing any more than you have previously. It's not like anyone's working less; everyone's just working more. Now the work creeps into your off time, right? So even when you're now I do a Zoom happy hour with some friends, it still feels like work because I'm still staring at the screen. It didn't really give me that big of a difference. I just get to be more inappropriate. That's it.
More inappropriate Zooms, yes.
Yes.
Well, the studio looks great. What's back there right now? What's in
Thanks.
I mean, it looks like a nice little exhibit. It's like
yeah, I mean, I'm having Chris Blay over, everybody. Like, it's like cleaning up your house, right? Yeah, no, just a bunch of some paintings that I've been doing, and this little drill in the background is my social distancing drill. So it has a car antenna mounted to it, so it extends out. And so I've just sort of been playing with these, just sort of DIY toys. This idea that like you're in a situation like this, and if I was a 13-year-old boy, how would I fix this problem? Except I have maybe a bigger budget now, so I can afford like drill guns and car antennas.
Not bubblegum money anymore. It's the
no,
stakes are higher.
Yeah, and I've got another kind of piece I've been goofing with that's sort of an homage to a guy who tried to do a DIY ventilator. So he's tried to build it out of buckets and stuff at home. And it looks like it doesn't really work, but like he's really trying. And so I kind of found this video of this guy building this thing. I just think it's like super sweet. And so I'm trying to build one on my own to sort of echo his journey and what he's gone through.
Please tell me it looks like one of those swamp coolers that you can build out of a paint bucket and
yeah,
ceiling.
Very much. It's got like all these funny like train transformers and car parts attached to it, and it's this bucket with this spinning wheel and a fan in the front, and yeah, it looks really kind of goofy. It does remind me a little bit of the sort of the swamp cooler that you would just put outside on the porch with your water hose running into it, and just put a fan on yourself, and it seems like it's solving something, but really you're just getting wet. It doesn't help all that much. That's really kind of the super sweet thing is you have some skills and you're worrying about a problem that exists in the world, and you're actually trying to solve it, even though you know that your solution is a very small one, and it might only help a very small group, your local community or something like that.
Right.
It's very micro at that point. And but yeah, I like this idea that people are scrounging around and trying to figure out what they can do to help. And oftentimes that's a small scope, but sometimes it can be a little bit bigger.
Yeah, for sure. How are things with you guys? I mean, I know you're at home, you're teaching. How's the neighborhood?
Yeah, we're north of Dallas. We're outside of McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
So up north quite a bit. And then, yeah, Sue-Ann is teaching for the college up here and doing a lot of online classes. And I've been doing a lot of marketing work lately.
Yeah.
And so just, yeah, since so much of that is digital anyway, what I've kind of found is that a lot of people with the offices closed down, they're really trying to push their businesses online. So they need more marketing, or they need web support for an online platform to do e-commerce or something like that. So interestingly enough, things have just been busier for me.
Yeah.
I talk to other people that don't have anything to do and don't know what to do with their time. They're just playing a lot of Xbox. And I'm
Oh
like,
man. Yeah, I crave the moment I can sit down and like read a book or something. It's just not happening right now.
No, it's strange. I started out the new year trying to read a little bit every day, like nothing big, like 15 minutes or something, just a physical book.
Yeah.
And that has seemed to have collapsed under the weight of everything else. And I don't know what I'm doing with that time. It's not like my schedule has messed up that much, but there is something about, everything seems to be very sped up right now, even though you're not allowed to move. So
Right.
there's sort of a mental anxiety that I've been thinking about.
Yeah, it's such a dissociative phenomenon, like really experiencing the passage of time because you're not physically moving about. So if you're in the same space, it's like, it's like sensory deprivation. I think we're all like qualified to be astronauts now. We can all go to Mars. Got that figured out.
I know. Yeah, just bring plenty of foil and duct tape, and we'll just all do a version of The Martian.
That's
yeah.
it. That's
no,
it.
no. Yeah, it's been sort of interesting to see the forms that the anxiety has been taking. Like, I have a little office space in downtown McKinney, so I was down there today doing some stuff, and all of a sudden I hear all this honking, and I'm on this Zoom meeting with somebody, and I was like, I'm sorry, I got to cut this off and see what's happening. I go out there, and they're doing a support local McKinney thing, and so there's all these cars driving in circles around the courthouse honking, and everyone's waving and having a good time, and there's police with them and everything. But yeah, I've been sort of, it's sort of like everyone's really anxious to do something, and so then when people start honking, that sensory deprivation you're talking about, it just like peaked for me. I was like, this is too much, I can't handle it. So I'm kind of curious about this idea that we're opening up all the businesses again. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know that economically it will help, and that might help people with anxiety, but I think socially, it's health-wise, it's going to be a real problem.
I think they should do what they're capable of doing, but in a safe way, like as safe as possible and as conscientiously as possible. But I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna go to these open restaurants. No, man, can't do it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
I talked to a few small business owners, and they were saying like, "Well, I can't believe more people aren't coming back out already." And I was like, I think I can understand that.
Right? I can believe it.
Yeah. So there's one side of it, which is everyone needs to come back out and give me money so I can survive, but then they put themselves at risk doing it. And this turnaround and this recovery should take a while. If it doesn't take a while, I think we're going to run into another set of problems. But I understand like people's anxiety over the economics.
We have to rely on each other, and we're not reliable. We're not a reliable species, so
no.
It's like you can make all the quarantine rules you want, but it takes a handful of people deciding not to follow those rules because they can, and then we're all affected again.
Yeah, you know, as usual, wanting to like see which one of these plays out, like which scenario, because everything seems to be amplified right now. If
Right.
you're a cruddy person, you're going to be twice as cruddy, and if you're a good person, this is a chance to be twice as good.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sort of looking around and hoping that this altruistic kind of nature wins out.
So yeah, we will see hopefully in a few weeks how it all initially plays out, because I mean, we know we're going to be with this thing for a little while.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, it's also one of those things where it's just been in all the news feeds.
Right.
So you can't really get away from it either. If you wake up in the morning and you pick up your phone and your news shows this, or Instagram shows it, or Reddit has front page headlines on it, and that's something else that reminds me a lot of election time or something, where I just at some point I don't need this much media. Like, not that much is going to change in 6 hours. You know,
that's sort of our mantra when we switch to watching movies or a TV show. It's like, okay, it's just going to be here tomorrow morning, so let's do something else. So what's the piece that you're sharing for the auction?
It's it's a sort of a painting drawing of a ratchet strap.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so it's like 22 by 30 inches, just a vertical orange band that's has a ratchet strap device on it.
Yeah,
it looks like it's slightly sagging.
Is it part of that series? Part of what's behind you right now?
It's tied to it. Yeah, it's sort of tied to it. I started getting into this thing of just drawing and replicating tools for a while, but some of these, like that one in particular, I was thinking a lot of sort of these Home Depot tools as a way to fix problems, like conceptual solutions, and I'll clamp all these together, right? If you're political divisiveness, if you can't get along with your parents because they're Republican and you're a Democrat, and like tie you together into a room and just make you get along with each other.
Yeah.
I guess it also sort of mimics like formalism and minimalism, that kind of like an idea of like a Barnett Newman ziff, this kind of spirituality, but just sort of take it down into sort of blue collar terms.
Yeah, there are a lot of color connections with what's behind you right now. That's has to be on purpose. Like the book cover there and the spine.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Well, yeah, I'm decorating at this point, right? Putting some books out there for you. A lot of this is Home Depot orange, so sort of finding the right Pantone swatch for that, and then
which is also the Whataburger orange, right?
Yeah, they're like one hexadecimal off, right? They're super close. Yeah, and then the blue is based off of painter's tape. So taking some painter's tape into Home Depot and getting your color swatch made off of it.
Man, I want to see the expression on the painter's face that mixed that paint. It's like, what the
every time I go in there, these guys just shake their head. They're like, no. Like, can you make that into paint?
Yeah. Man, well, it is fulfilling to catch up with you because I haven't seen you in a while.
It has been a while.
And glad to know that you're holding up, man. And it's too bad that none of us can do the in-person things that keep our community going. But if this is all we have, it's certainly better than nothing. So thank you
that's for sure.
Checking in and chatting with us. What do you have coming up? Do you have any shows out there that come back to you, or is there something going out?
Well, it just got done with the last show at 500X, and that was kind of an interesting one because I think the quarantine went into effect the day of or the day before the opening.
Right.
And so that was sort of difficult. And then, but yeah, I've got a show coming up that's at PRP, Michael Mazurek put together, that has several well-known artists in it, but we're all doing iterations of Michelle Rawlings paintings.
Oh,
And
nice.
that's going to be, yeah. And so that ought to be a fun show. And like half the proceeds are going to help with COVID costs for people. So
Yeah.
kind of a donation event.
Well, that sounds really cool, man. I want to check it out as soon as it comes out.
Yeah, it should be good. So yeah, well, thanks for your time, Chris. This has been really nice.
Yeah, it's been great, and thank you for taking the time. I hope this wasn't one of the Zoom buzzkills of our Zoom experiences.
No, this one's been a good one. This has really been a good one.
It was zoomed out. All right, man. Talk to you soon. Say hi to Sue-Ann, and we'll catch up again.
Okay, sounds good.